Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and today I'm here with another top 20 list as part of the top 20 for 2020 created by Jason and Joe. And I'm sure most of you are subbed to these guys already, but if not, I will leave links to both of their channels in the description box below, so please check them out. Anyway, this top 20 theme is top 20 slashers from the 2000s, so yet another great theme, and this list was pretty tricky for me to come up with, like many of the top 20 lists always are, but I'm pretty happy with the 20 slashers from the 2000s that I have selected, so let's get started. So coming in at number 20 we have 100 Tears, and this could have made it higher on the list, however it's been quite a while since I've seen this one, but this film is a lot of fun. It's a killer clown themed slasher, and yeah, like I said, good fun, so that's 100 Tears. Coming in at number 19 we have Shredder, and this is pretty cheesy but it is a lot of fun. This one is about a group of snowboarders who are getting picked off one by one by a killer, and I love the snowy setting within this film too, so yeah, that's Shredder. Coming in at number 18 is Gutterballs. Now this is another one that probably should have been slightly higher on the list, but because of the extremity of this film, it's definitely not one that I can watch over and over like some of the other films that made it higher within this list. But in saying that though, Gutterballs is a fantastic slasher. It's very, very extreme, especially in terms of some of the subject matters, and the language and the kills are fantastic within this film. As you can probably tell from the title if you haven't seen this one, it does centre around a bowling alley, which is an awesome location. So yeah, that's Gutterballs. Coming in at number 17 we have Tormented, and this is one that I don't really think I've heard anyone ever really talk about. It's pretty underrated, but it is a really, really good sort of college or teen-based slasher film. It's a revenge style slasher because the character actually comes back from the dead and starts tormenting his bullies and killing them off one by one. Really, really good. There's some good characters within this film and some really good kills, and I like the storyline too, so yeah, that's Tormented. Coming in at number 16 we have The Tripper, and this is another one that I definitely consider to be a little bit underrated, and this one is a lot of fun. I love the kind of theme behind this film. It's about a guy disguised as Ronald Reagan who is targeting a bunch of hippies at a party within a forest. Really, really cool. A lot of fun, as I said. I like the whole sort of theme. I like the killer within this film as well, so that is The Tripper. Coming in at number 15 we have Satan's Little Helper, and this is definitely really, really cheesy, but super fun. I love the Halloween theme behind this film, and I love the fact that the killer within this film has sort of latched himself onto a young child that is obsessed with his particular character, and he kind of has the kid as a sidekick to help him with a lot of the killings, which I think is a pretty cool idea. So yeah, I'm sure most of you have seen this one. I know Joe's a fan of this one, and yeah, this definitely had to make my list, so that's Satan's Little Helper. Coming in at number 14 we have Valentine, and this was actually a first time watch for me last year, as I was reviewing this for one of the Slashback Challenge weeks, and I've got to say I was really, really impressed with this one. I'm not normally a fan of slasher movies from this particular time period, but this one is definitely one of my favourites from that particular time period of sort of late 90s style, early 2000s style slasher films. And yeah, like I said, I was really, really impressed. I love the story behind this one, how it's all centered around Valentine. The killer in the Cupid mask looks awesome, and I really, really liked the kills within this movie as well. So yeah, that's Valentine. Coming in at number 13 we have Cold Prey. And like 100 Tears, it's actually been quite a while since I've seen this one, but I can remember thinking this one was excellent. Very, very solid slasher movie from the 2000s. So if you haven't checked this one out, I definitely recommend it. This one is about a group of snowboarders who come across an abandoned ski lodge, and they find themselves the targets of a killer. Very, very good. I definitely highly recommend this one. Absolutely fantastic. The cast of characters from memory were really, really good. I liked the killer. The killer is pretty brutal within this film, and this one had some great atmosphere and a fantastic setting. So yeah, that's Cold Prey. Coming in at number 12 we have My Bloody Valentine 3D, or the My Bloody Valentine remake. Now while this is nothing compared to the original, I think in terms of a remake this is a really, really solid one. The 3D gimmick or effect within this film is pretty fun. I definitely think they put that to good use, and overall this is just a really, really solid remake to an absolutely amazing original film. I like the characters within this film. The kills are really, really good, and the setting's really good as well. So yeah, really, really good remake. That is My Bloody Valentine. Coming in at number 11 we have Switchblade Romance, or High Tension, and this was another one that I knew would definitely make my list. This movie is fantastic. It's part of the French Fab Four, or the French Extreme Horror. And yeah, really, really good stuff. I know a lot of people have an issue with the twist ending. I'm kind of over that now. I don't really mind it, but I definitely would have preferred the movie to finish about 10 minutes early. But in saying that though, it doesn't really affect my overall enjoyment of the rest of the film. I think this is an absolutely fantastic film. I love the characters. The kills within this film are fantastic. So yeah, that's Switchblade Romance, or High Tension. Alright, so now we're on to the top 10. So coming in at number 10 is Wilderness, and this is another one that I definitely consider to be really underrated. And out of this entire list, this is probably the one that I kind of recommend the most if you haven't seen it, because it's so sort of unique and different compared to a lot of other slashers out there. This one is about a group of kind of juvenile delinquents basically, and this they go away for the weekend to an island to try and rehabilitate themselves, and there's a killer there waiting for them, and they start getting picked off one by one. Now what makes this kind of different is this is kind of played out like a survival slasher, and I really, really like the killer, because you don't really see the killer a lot. He's kind of disguised, and he's kind of like hunting these people on the island. Plus he has a pack of killer dogs as well, which is really, really cool. But yeah, this one is fantastic. The setting's great, and as I said, it's kind of a unique one when it comes to the slasher genre. So yeah, that's Wilderness. Coming in at number 9 we have Hellbent, and this is a gay-themed slasher, and it is really, really awesome. This is another one that I definitely highly recommend from this list. This one is set during Halloween. People are at a Halloween party, everyone's dressed up, and I absolutely love the setting within this film. It's really, really well done. And there's a killer disguised as a devil, killing people one by one. There's some really, really awesome kills within this film, and as I said, the Halloween setting is fantastic. So that's Hellbent. Coming in at number 8 we have Wrong Turn 2, and this is my favourite Wrong Turn film within the Wrong Turn franchise. I do prefer it slightly more than the original film. I think it's a little bit more ramped up, and the kills are awesome, and I really like the reality TV storyline they've got going within this film. I think it works pretty well, pretty cool concept. But yeah, I'm sure most people are pretty familiar with this one. Really, really cool. That's Wrong Turn 2. Coming in at number 7, we have The Collector. And this movie is kind of a slasher home invasion hybrid, and a absolutely awesome one at that. I love this movie. It's fantastic. I think the villain within this movie is really, really cool, how he sort of booby traps the house, and there's some pretty brutal traps within this film and some good kills. And this is just a really easy and fun watch for me. So yeah, that's The Collector. Awesome, awesome film. Coming in at number 6, we have Hatchet, and this probably ranks closer to number 1 on a lot of people's lists, and I'm not really going to argue that because this movie is fantastic. It's definitely one of those classic slashers from this era, and for good reason, because it is an absolutely phenomenal film. Of course, it brought us the killer Victor Crowley. The setting in the swamp is fantastic, and I really love the storyline behind this one too. I think it's pretty cool, and the kills are pretty damn awesome too. But for me, there's 5 more that I prefer slightly more to Hatchet, so this is where Hatchet ranks on my list. Coming in at number 5, we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, and next to the original TCM film, this is by far my favourite installment after the original film. I think this is an absolutely fantastic film. I love this one a lot. I love the little bit of a backstory at the start on Leatherface, and I love the character of Sheriff Foyt. He is very, very sick and twisted within this film, but he is really, really cool. And this film definitely has that really sort of gritty and grimy feel to it, which I really, really appreciate a lot. And yeah, this one is awesome. I love it. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Coming in at number 4, we have American Psycho, and this is where my list got really difficult to rank, because honestly, I probably could have put any of the next 4 films at number 1 on any given day. They're all absolutely fantastic in my opinion. American Psycho is an absolute classic from this era when it comes to not only slashers but horror films in general. Christian Bale's performance of Patrick Bateman, absolutely incredible, very, very memorable. This one has a great soundtrack, and as I said, absolutely fantastic character of Patrick Bateman. Very, very sick and twisted individual. So that is American Psycho. I'm sure most people have seen it, but this movie is amazing. Okay, coming in at number 3, and I'm sure a lot of people don't agree with my opinions on this film, let alone it ranking number 3 on a top 20 list, and that is the Halloween remake. I fucking love this remake. I don't care what anyone says. I think Rob Zombie did a great job on his own take with the Halloween and Michael Myers mythology within this film. He did something slightly different by giving us a backstory on Michael. Most people hate it. I like it. I think it's a pretty awesome addition into the overall franchise, and I really, really like it. Sure, the kind of white trash family is a little bit overplayed within this film, but other than that, I really, really enjoyed the backstory. I love the mask within this film, or multiple masks actually, because I like the clown mask where Michael has it when he was a young kid. I like the escape mask that Michael wears when he's escaping from Smith's Grove, and I love the adult Michael mask as well. It looks really, really cool. This one is brutal in terms of the kills. I really love how far Rob Zombie took it in terms of the brutality with the kills within this film. Again, adding his own touch over the original film. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's a fantastic remake. So that is Halloween. Coming in at number 2, we have Wolf Creek, and you guys know how much I love this franchise, both the films and the television series. Of course, the original film, based loosely on a real-life serial killer over here in Australia called Ivan Milat, or the Backpacker Murderer. This one introduced us to Mick Taylor, who is one of my favourite horror villains of all time. Not only that, but I'm very proud to say that this movie really put Australia on the map in terms of the horror genre, and this one is phenomenal. I'm sure most of you have seen it. If you haven't, what are you doing? You need to check this movie out ASAP. But this one is an Aussie horror classic. Wolf Creek, absolutely love it. And coming in at number 1 is the Friday the 13th remake. This took quite a bit of thought as to my ranking for it, but thinking about it, overall I would probably say that this is my favourite slasher film from this decade of horror, the 2000s. To me, I think this is pretty much the kind of perfect slasher from that particular decade, and a great example of what makes the slasher genre so awesome, to me at least, and I'm sure to a lot of other people. This is almost like a best of the Friday the 13th franchise, and it's also one of my go-tos in terms of the franchise. I really like this one a lot. I think the portrayal of Jason within this film is fantastic. He's a lot more smarter and a lot more brutal, kind of modernized if you like, and I think that works really well. This one has a lot of fantastic kills, great nods to the franchise, and overall I would say that this is pretty much a perfect all-round slasher. So big fan of this one. That's the Friday the 13th remake at number 1. Okay, so there you go. That was my top 20 slashers from the 2000s. Let me know what you think of my top 20 in the comments section below. And once again, if you're not already subscribed to Jason and Joe, I'll be leaving links to both of their channels in the description box below, so please check them out. Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.